I think I haven't touched drugs now for about 8-9 years. I'm now 35 coming up, so I think it was more to do with me just maturing, just growing up, basically. After that, something I didn't get at home, which was like to feel a part of something and to feel, how can I say it, sort of loved, if even, you know what I mean, loved. It was a different kind of love, but it was the feeling of acceptance. Like I say, from an early age I started glue sniffing within the Groveville area, knocking about with all the usual Grovillians, we called them. But then, as I gradually got older, I started to sort of go out of the area a lot more. So I was like heading towards the townway, Granville Road, and there was a particular gang of people that I used to knock about with. So this was because I had another interest, which was boxing. You know what I mean? It sort of took me away from all that. You know, I didn't really smoke. I didn't start smoking until I was 21. So this sort of gave me another buzz, if you know what I mean. I mean, I got a buzz out of taking drugs, but I also got a buzz out of before all that. I was like getting a buzz out of fitness and things like that. And again, it was that introduction to marijuana, ganja, a nightly thing where we'd all chip in 5 or 8 or something and get a big block of blow. And it was just somewhere where your parents weren't there, sort of thing. Again, I was still living with our mum, and we had the problems of her being an alcoholic, and I didn't want to be around that sort of thing. So again, it was just leaving me to obviously these lads' houses and sharing joints and what have you. So that went on for a bit, and then some lads that we knew come in and introduced us to heroin. They offered it about. They were sat in the room smoking it from foil. It was like a beetle on a foil, and I was always like dead against people who used to do that. You know, used to hear stories and all that, and I just said I'd never get involved or anything like that. I know I was a tackhead or whatever. I was just an attack.
I read bad shit about. No, don't want to, mate.
It's fucking class.
Yeah, no, mate.
I've got enough for 2 more, me and you.
No, mate, I've heard bad crack about it.
Oh, don't be like that.
Hey, Matt, fucking mate, I swear to God. I'm fucked.
Tell me I'm straight after you, now I am.
Tell me that.
Get down here. Best thing in life.
I mean, after about 2 years, I would say, 2 or 3 years, because again, when I was smoking it, I just found myself spending a lot more money on it. The effects weren't lasting. I found myself rattling. That's what we call, like, sort of thing, if you start getting these withdrawal symptoms, we call it rattling, riding your bike or whatever. And it sort of does something to the blood. I don't know what it does, because when you haven't got gear inside of you and you're going through a rattling stage, sort of, you get dull aches in your legs and your arms, sort of thing, and you just want to, sort of, reflex would be to do that with your arms and legs and that, and even kick walls or whatever. But like I say, after it was everyday use, and that just got more and more. I found myself taking, obviously I was working full time in pizza shops by then. I'd done a youth training scheme as a trainee chef, and I was fully trained up for pizzas and all that, and that was fiddly work, and I was getting about 30-35 quid a night for that. And for, like I say, for the first year or two, it was fine. I was able to hide it from the bosses and what have you, you know what I mean? But again, after a while, I found myself taking the gear to work and having to do it in the toilets on the sly, and I was obviously not doing my job properly, you know what I mean? The bosses were seeing that I was like sort of dropping down a level from what I was. And I think that's when I decided that I couldn't sort of work and be a heroin addict at the same time. I think it might have even been easier to just go out and shoplift it, you know what I mean? It was easier that way, so I decided to do it that way. And I mean, even that it takes its toll after a while, because I found myself just going shoplifting all day, taking all evening to sell the goods, not getting the proper prices for the goods, basically taking whatever I could, because there was no, oh well, I might leave the heroin alone today. There was none of that. I had to have it inside of me to feel normal. I had to have it, you know what I mean? So, like I say, it was taking all evening to sell the stuff, and then by the time I'd had my gear, I was crashed out, taking it, crashed out, and then the next day was upon me, and I'd done exactly the same every single day without fail. And then you find yourself not involving yourself doing anything else. You've got no social life, you know what I mean? My leg came into it. My veins had just totally collapsed, so I was starting to go on my legs, and basically it was pot luck in my legs, because you've got a lot of muscle there, and the veins are like twisted and they're rested on the muscle. So I decided to go on there one time anyway, and what I'd been told by the doctors and nurses, that I must have pushed the pin a tiny bit out of the vein and sprayed the gear. And through that, I didn't realise I'd done anything to it till I got out of bed one morning, and I just collapsed in pain and agony. And I looked down, and my leg was just out here in three different spots, sort of three massive sort of blisters or whatever, you know what I mean, abscesses they were called. And I had to go into hospital and get them pierced. I mean, can you just see that? I've got them in the light.
Yeah.
One there, and one there. Now, they put me to sleep to do this, obviously, but when I got home it was like a real shock to me, because I thought they'd stitched them up, but they hadn't. They just packed them with bandages and stuff, because they said that let them heal from inside upwards, sort of thing. So it was when I seen it, I nearly fainted, because I'm like, I wasn't really, I know I was used to blood and all that, but even this was really bad. She took the bandages off, what was wrapped around it, and basically I could see down to I could see my bone, and I could basically, if there was a hole on the other side, I'd be able to see the floor from it.
You must have felt sick when you
Yeah,
saw that.
I did. And then she got these pliers, something like a claw thing, and started pulling all this bandage out of them. So all of the three different holes, she just packed with bandages. You know what I mean? Just stuffed them all in. So when it came out, there was like a roll of bandage like that in each one. And that went on for weeks until they actually fully healed up. And you can see the scar for life now. And, I mean, because there was a big turning point in my... I mean, I've got diabetes now, and I put that down. I mean, it's a hereditary disease. Because when Anna had it, it sort of skipped a generation and come to the eldest of our mum's sons and daughters, sort of thing. So I think that was a big part as well to do with it, because I was having to inject insulin as well for my diabetes, and obviously doing that on top of injecting heroin, I was just sick of the sight of needles basically. I was having to go to hospital, getting diabetes checkups, getting blood taken. I was walking about like a wounded soldier. Bumps in my arms, my veins were collapsing all the time. It was just too much to take. I don't think, you know what I mean? I was looking dreadful. I was looking like death warmed up. In Narcotics Anonymous, there's lots of support groups and that out there now that help, because it's not just about the drugs. It's about learning. It's the coping mechanism you have. So how are you going to cope with life, sort of thing? Because a lot of addicts, they put the drugs down and they think they can get back to normal straight away, and it doesn't happen like that. Most people, something might happen in their life that goes bad for them. They might lose someone that they love or anything, you know what I mean? And that will instantly put them back onto the drugs, you know, like people who drink, for instance, they go and drown their sorrows with a pint in the local pub or whatever. Heroin, crack addicts will go and drown their sorrows with a bag or a pipe, you know what I mean? It just makes them forget for like till the next day, but then the next day they try to forget again.